Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please write me at walkwithtak@gmail.com. I love to hear from you, and when you write me an email, I will be able to give you a more thorough answer, and I will respond to you promptly. Recently, I went to eat at a restaurant, and they have this dish which I really enjoy. It is a dish with a large shrimp that is fried, and it placed over a bed of very nice Chinese vegetable, which known as gailan. And I decided I'm going to come home and replicate this recipe, and I'm going to see what I can do. So I started with some large shrimp, and I bought some of this Chinese vegetable known as gailan, and I really enjoy making this dish. So let's go to the kitchen, and I'm going to show you how I make this dish. I'm going to cook this dish in my Cuisinart 14-inch stainless steel wok. I started with 2 tablespoons of canola oil. You can use any oil that you would like, as long as it has a high smoking point. And then I season the wok with my Smart Seasoning method to create a non-stick cooked surface. Now, to fry the shrimp, I'm using a method known as shallow frying. The dish that I eat in the restaurant, they actually deep fry it, and I decided I will shallow fry it instead. This way, I will use less breading. I coat the shrimp with a thin layer of cornstarch and also with my basic seasoning mix, which you can find it on Amazon if you'd like to give it a try. And I have a link below the video, and I also have a video describe what are the components in this seasoning mix. I also add some chili pepper flakes as well as some sugar to the shrimp. And this way will allow me to create a nice breading, and also will allow me to char the shrimp. Now, as you can see in here, I only use a very small amount of cooking oil, and this is the advantage of the shallow frying technique. Now, the shrimp takes very little time to fry, and in about 30 or 40 seconds, I will turn the shrimp around and to fry it on the other side. As you notice that the shrimp actually has a very nice char surface, and this is the reason for adding both the chili pepper flake as well as the sugar that will allow caramelization of the shrimp and give it a much nice texture. As I recommended in my wok kit, a pair of long handle tongs is very useful in situations like this when you want to manipulate the food ingredients individually. In another 30 to about 40 seconds, the shrimp is done. I'm going to set the shrimp aside, and I'm going to cook the vegetables because by setting the shrimp just separately from cooking the vegetable, I will be able to maintain the crispy texture on the surface of the shrimp, and it makes the dish far more interesting and have a much better culinary experience. Okay, next I'm ready to cook the Chinese vegetable, which known as gailan. This is a vegetable very similar to broccoli. In fact, the stem of the gailan tastes almost exactly the same as the stem of the broccoli. However, this dish has far more leaf as compared to broccoli, and the leaf are actually very tasty. So in this particular dish, I actually separate the leaves from the stem. I used the stem to cook another dish about 2 weeks ago. Now you notice that the leaves still in very good shape. In fact, this has been in the refrigerator for about almost over 2 weeks. It's still in very good shape. Now the leaves and the vegetable would have far more worse condition if I have not cut them apart and stored them in plastic container. And usually after I cut them, I let it air dry a little bit before I put a cover on, because we all know moisture is the absolute enemy of shelf life. So if you keep the vegetable relatively dry, they actually have excellent shelf life. The gailan leaf doesn't take a long time to cook. So after I cook it for only about 40 to 50 seconds, it's almost ready. And next, I'm going to add some zucchini. Again, this zucchini is already in my advanced prepping. if you have advanced prepping, anything you're going to cook for the evening is much easier and faster than otherwise you have to prep everything in advance. And that's the reason if you're going to adopt my fast cooking system and you are serious about utilizing it as your daily cooking routine, it is important that you invest in advanced prepping. In the beginning, you might not like the idea, but once you see the advantage of advanced prepping, you will quickly realize that how valuable advanced prepping is. And then finally, I'm going to add some portobello mushroom. Again, I have them prepped in advance. The portobello mushroom will last for about a week to 10 days, depending on the shape they are when you first purchase them. I always choose the portobello mushroom that in the best fresh conditions so that I know I can keep them for a longer time period. Again, as you can see here, this is an approach in my sequential cooking. I put the vegetables that I need to cook for a longer time first into the wok, and then I put the other ingredients at a later duration. The end result is that by the time when it is all cooked, I will be able to have them in the exact condition that how I would like them. Okay, now I'm ready to season the dish. I'm going to use about 1.5 tablespoons of oyster sauce and followed by about 1/2 tablespoon of hoisin sauce. I only want to season the dish very lightly because the gailan has some very nice flavor. Next, I also add a bit soy sauce to provide the saltiness. I personally do not like food too salty, but since I'm cooking this dish for my wife and my son as well, and they like it more, they like to have more salt than I do. Personally, I think the natural flavor of the food ingredients tend to be more pronounced just with oyster sauce and hoisin sauce. So normally, I hardly use any soy sauce. And last but not the least, I'm going to add a little bit hot chili pepper flake. And this is also followed by some addition of Shaoxing cooking wine. And by this time, I have already turned off the heat. And a few stirring to mix the content, I'm ready to transfer the dish to a serving plate. Cooking the vegetable part takes only a very small amount of time. It's only about 7 minutes. Next, I'm ready to put the shrimp that I fried earlier right on top of the vegetables. This makes a very nice dish. When I ate at the restaurant, they cook it slightly differently. As I mentioned, their shrimp is more deep fried. And in this case, I just shallow fry the shrimp. I actually like the shallow fry a little bit better because it feels less oily as compared to the deep frying. And also the shrimp I use actually is a better quality than the shrimp that I have at the restaurant. I use some large shrimp. This is a 16 to 20 count shrimp. And they truly provide a very nice touch to this dish. My son and my wife really enjoy the dish. We actually end up have to struggle a little bit over the shrimp and see who can get a better handle of it. But nevertheless, it is a very delightful dish. And the key of the dish is to cook the shrimp and the vegetable separately so you can maintain the nice texture of the shrimp. So if you would like to give this dish a try and if you enjoy shrimp, I think you will find this a very delightful dish. I post a video each day to help you to make home cooking as part of your daily routine using my fast cooking system. If you would like to learn more about my fast cooking system, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. So keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.